So let's talk now about a few things to consider to make sure that you're growing really well. So the best strategy I find is, and sorry, this sounds obvious, but give plants what they need to be healthy. So here are some of the things that you need to think about. So when we're talking about sun conditions, there are some plants that don't need a lot of sun, that can grow well in shade, but most food plants generally do need something like 6 hours of sun a day. So take a look at the space that you have, whether how much sun there is it dappled, is it full sun, and how many hours a day, and that'll give you an idea. Soil conditions. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in depth, but basically, what kind of soil is it, and what the nutrient balance is. And so this picture I have here is, again, from my garden. It's a shark fin melon. So my next door neighbors grew this melon. It's a huge vining plant. They had something like 50 melons in the course of 1 year. I grew it the following year. They gave me the seeds, and I only ended up with 5 melons. So lots of beautiful leaves, lots of flowers, the melons started to form, but then they shriveled up. And it was only after I talked to some people that I realized, oh, I put lots of manure in my soil for the nitrogen, but this plant needed other nutrients as well. It needed potassium and phosphorus and calcium. And so that's what I learned, is that there are other things that I need to add to the soil beside nitrogen. So those are the kinds of things that you're going to learn over the course of gardening. Water and drainage. Most plants like to have just like a damp sponge. So you have to think about the space, whether is there water pooling anywhere? Are you going to have access to watering? Will the hose that you want to use reach the space that you want to be at? Wind is the kind of thing that you need to think about if you're on a balcony and you're kind of higher up, and also if you're in a really wide open space. What will the impact be on the plants? How much time do you have? Are you willing to commit many hours a week, or do you just have a little bit of time? There are strategies for managing gardens so that you don't need to spend as much time, but that's something you need to think about. Proximity to sources of pollution. Are you right beside a road where there are lots of cars going by? It's something else to consider. And finally, how is the space used? So are there lots of people moving around in the space? Is there something that's going to have an impact on the way the plants grow? So these are all things that you want to think about as you're deciding what to plant. So if you remember anything from my talk today, what really is important, and this is going to sound a little strange, but you need to listen to the plants. The plants will tell you what it is that they need, if you know how to listen to them. And it's all about observation. So really getting in the habit of going out and looking at your plants every day and seeing what they're telling you in terms of the color of the leaves. Is it producing what it's supposed to? Is it growing at the rate it's supposed to? All of those things will tell you. And this is part of the lifelong learning. As I said, I've been growing for over 20 years and I'm still learning new things. You will as well. It's very important to get to know the space that you're growing. There's a lot of information that's out there in books and online, but until you actually start growing in your own space, you won't know 100% what that space and what the plants that you're growing in it need, because sometimes things work differently than what experts will tell you. So you need to become the expert of your space. And it also means that if something doesn't grow so well 1 year, well, you'll try it another year and it'll grow better, and everything is about learning. So I have here, use your words. One of the challenging things about trying to get information about gardening is that sometimes you're looking online, or even if you're talking to a person, if you don't know how to describe what's going on, it's very hard to find information that's specific to what you're seeing. So the more that you can describe what is happening, so do you see leaves curling? Do you see spots? What color are they? What color are the leaves? These kinds of things will help you ask for help. If you can describe the kind of bugs that you're seeing, or if you're seeing webs, that will all help whether you're talking to a person or you're looking for information online. And finally, another really basic thing is if you want to have healthy plants, the soil, the medium that they're growing in is really important.